Howdy folks, you're watching Deuce, and did you know that this Glock is going to be discontinued completely? This is a Glock 34 and it is no more. I just found out that Glock is discontinuing, I think, most of their firearms. Here is the list right there. Oh, and it continues on the second page. That is a ton of pistols that you will not be able to get here very shortly. Why are they discontinuing all these pistol models that they've offered for years and years and decades? Simply put, Glock is discontinuing pretty much everything that does not sell very well. What hurdle metric did they use to differentiate a good versus bad selling pistol? I have no idea what numbers they were looking for. But suffice it to say, they are streamlining their business and only selling what the customers are buying. In general, anything Generation 3 and Generation 4 are gone. They're kaput, they're nada, you will not be able to buy those anymore. So if you like the Generation 3 finger grooves, they're gone. If you like Generation 4 for some reason for compatibility with aftermarket stuff, also gone. Everything going forward is going to be Generation 5 only. If you are a fan of the Glock 22 or anything 40 caliber, sorry, you are SOL. They are removing all their 40 caliber options from their lineup. Glock is also discontinuing anything chambered in 357 SIG. Also, kaput, gone. If you want that caliber, buy it now because they will not be offered in the future. Deuce from the future here. I forgot to mention two things while at the range. The first one, go ahead and check out the first link in the first comment down below that I got pinned to the very top of the comment section. Black Basin has been helping out the channel with some equipment needs, and they can probably help you out as well. And the second thing I forgot to mention is the most important caliber that Glock is completely discontinuing, and that is the 45 gap. Many of you are probably asking your screen right now, Deuce, what is a 45 gap? Well, Glock many years ago decided that they needed to take the 45 ACP cartridge that normally fits in this very large Glock 21 and downsize the case of the 45 to fit in a Glock 17. I'm pretty sure the only company that made pistol chambered in 45 gap was Glock, because it stands for 45 Glock automatic pistol, because it is just basically a cut down 45 ACP case to fit in a smaller frame. I've always been curious though, if I can find a really cheap Glock 45 gap pistol, I will pick it up for the channel because I'm just a glutton for punishment. On top of getting rid of all the third generation, the fourth generation, the 40 caliber Smith & Wesson, and the 357 SIG, they're also discontinuing a bunch of different size options you had. You used to be able to get a short barrel carry option for 10 millimeter. That will be no more. You also used to be able to get the same configuration in 45 ACP. Again, no longer going to be available, so if you want one, you better buy one now. But the one thing that really upsets me, the one thing that they're discontinuing that really upsets me is their competition lineup. They are discontinuing all of their Glock 34s and Glock 35s. Those are their competition style pistols. They're also getting rid of their Glock 17L, the 17 long slide, which is just barely slightly longer than the Glock 34. And that's one thing I really do not like, but I understand why they're doing it, because they have an extremely high amount of competition for their competition lineup. The next question in my noggin here is, what are other people going to be shooting besides these discontinued models now? Well, let me tell you. Number one, the Glock 22, those were being mostly produced for law enforcement. Because the FBI decided to go with 9mm for their next caliber option, all law enforcement across the country is doing the same thing. So they're all selling their 40 caliber Smith & Wesson Glock 22s and mostly getting Glock 17s, which Glock 17 Generation 5 is still available and will be a hot topic in the future. And you can still find Glock 22s super cheap on the secondary market that were initially used in law enforcement. You can get those, get some conversion barrels to go from 40 caliber to 9mm or 357 SIG. Beautiful, and I've got a video on that here, so I'll put that up here and down below in the comments. A lot of law enforcement agencies aren't even going with Glock. They're going with the Smith & Wesson M&P, which is 9mm. It's a beautiful pistol. Here's a picture of one. I don't have one personally, but they are fantastic. Also, SIG has some options. That's mostly for the most part. I don't know if anyone's using Springfield. Maybe there's some Springfield Armory out there. Let me know if you're a law enforcement officer that uses Springfield or you know of that situation. I personally never seen it. It's always been Glock, SIG, or Smith & Wesson. But what about competition? Glock is getting rid of all their Glock 34s, which is my competition pistol, and the Glock 17L, the 17 long slide. Those two things were super, super important in the competition area for decades. The 17L was first introduced in the 80s, and Glock was pretty much the only long slide competition-based double stack magazine pistol out there on the market. If you want to put some big bucks into your pistol, then the sky's the limit. You can get a staccato, you can get all kinds of crazy multiple $1,000 pistols out there for your hobby of shooting competition. But I'm not going to do that. So what are average Joes like me going to shoot going forward when the Glock 34 and Glock 17L are no longer on the market? Well, I personally have already transitioned to the Canik Rival. I love this pistol. This is a great pistol. I've gotten used to it now, and it does rival, thus the name, I guess, rival the Glock 34. And they're basically the same size. You can see right there. It's basically the same exact pistol with a better grip, holds a couple more rounds, and has a much better trigger. So Canik is probably the cheapest acceptable competition pistol you can get. But what are the other options for dudes like me on a budget? Well, you can go with the Smith & Wesson M&P Pro Professional. They have a professional performance style pistol. There's a picture of that right there. I have shot one once. It was very, very nice. At a similar price point to the M&P Performance is the Springfield Armory. They have a competition-ready pistol. Walther has a competition-ready pistol. And Tanfolio also has a great competition-based pistol that's a little bit higher priced than the other three options I just mentioned. At the very top of the price point for average Joe competition pistols is the CZ Shadow 2. Don't get me wrong, I still like my Glock 34, especially the fact that it likes to shoot cast lead bullets, no problem, even if it is the factory barrel. Figured out how to cast bullets for the polygonal rifling here in the Glock, and quite a bit smoky here today. It shoots really, really, really well. I do like this thing. But the grip has a lot to be desired, which is one of the reasons why I probably will not bite the bullet and get a Glock 17L. So it really is a step up to get away from the Glocks and get into a Canik Rival or one of the other great options for competition pistols. They just shoot so well, and they have a much better red dot mounting option than Glock ever did. I have always wanted a Glock 17L, the long slide, because it's the longest slide that Glock has ever made. But I will not be doing that because I will take that money and put it towards a CZ Shadow 2. This is a Glock 34. If you have a Glock 34, you've always wanted a 17L, don't do it. Unless you just want a collection, don't do it, because you can get a threaded barrel Glock 34, which adds about a ½ inch of barrel on there, and you can stick whatever you want to on the end. I've got a compensator on the end of there, and it gives you roughly the same blueprint, the same kind of look as a Glock 17L, and the barrel is about the same length, because the Glock 17L barrel only is about a ¼ inch longer than the Glock 34, which is pretty crazy because it looks way more impressive than an extra ¼ inch, but trust me, they aren't. That's all I had. Hold on, let me get some more ammo. I don't shoot compensated very often because it puts me into the upper echelon of competition shooters, and I cannot compete against that. Boy, it's been a while since I've been to the range. I just love this crap so much. In conclusion, Glock is in fact discontinuing a ton of their interesting and unusual models. They will still continue to offer their greatest hits, their best sellers, Glock 17s, things of that nature, and all in the Generation 5 type pistols. None of the old pistols are going to follow forward in the near future. So if you want an older pistol, if you want a Glock 34, a Glock 17L, something chambered in 357 SIG, or a carry option for a 10mm, or something chambered in 40 caliber Smith & Wesson, you want it new, you need to buy it now. Otherwise, there are a ton of other options out there from Smith & Wesson, from Canik, from Walther, from SIG, from Springfield, from CZ and from Tanfolio that will take care of all of your needs. Well guys, that's it for me today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, go ahead and subscribe. A lot more is on the way. Remember to hit Black Basin up for any of your shooting needs. They are located below. Take a look at them. Could not do this channel without good people like them. And if you have any comments, questions, show it is. Leave that down in the comments down below. I'll try to answer as many of those as possible. And as always, you guys have a great day. See ya.